We came to Kutztown, not too many winning seasons. I think they had the first 100 years, maybe 5 or 6 winning seasons within that time frame. This year, we did not have one great player. We had a team.
We wanted that championship. That ship game, we wanted that. We wanted to win that championship, and that was the first step.
We talked about going undefeated in January, which we did, so we'd go month by month. Then we had to go undefeated in February, and we did that. So, I mean, we just took it game by game.
We had a team that liked each other. We had a team that fought hard for each other. We had a team that our goal coming into the year was win the PSAC title, PSAC East title, go to the PSAC championship game, and then get in the NCAA tournament. That was our goal.
Thank you, God, for food and friends. Amen. Amen. Thank you, God, for food and friends. Amen. Amen.
All right, Coach. So we're inside Keystone Arena. You're home away from home, or maybe just the home you only know. Really, I mean, after all these decades here, and I mean, this is where you've been, and you just wrapped up the 2016-17 campaign, and one of the best in school history. Did you feel that this season could be this way years ago? Did you feel that this year was going to be the year?
We thought when we brought this group we had 9 freshmen 4 years ago that we brought in, and we felt if they could stay and work within the program that we would be pretty good the next couple of years.
Me and Josh, Martin, and Howard and Conley had 5 seniors. I didn't come in with Howard or Ryan. It was me, Martin, and Josh, and 9 other freshmen that they're not here. So like kind of us 3 have been here for all 4 years and kind of like suffered through the growing pains our first 2 years and kind of loved the last 2 years because we were extremely good.
This year was, we had 5 seniors and they played great together, and we had some very good underclassmen come up and kind of accept roles that were, ones that they accepted and did quite well with.
The family, the team that everyone's talking about, and how there's no egos on this team, and how everyone was team first. How important was that to the success? I mean, say there was Dan Cuevas it's me and no one else, and I didn't care about anyone else, or there was another player that didn't care about the team and cared about their own personal box score. Would this team have been as good as it was?
Absolutely not. This team was a huge family. I don't think I've ever been on a team that was as close as this one. We all just have a bunch of fun together off the court, and we all love playing together. So the fact that we were that close off the court probably made us that much better on the court. I feel like in that family, I'm the little brother. If you think of everybody you had on the court this year, you had Ethan, junior, A-Lee, redshirt, sophomore, but technically junior. Right. And you had the 2 seniors, Josh and Conley. So I felt like I played the little brother role a little bit. They had to keep me in check, make sure I was doing the right things on the court.
How do you feel about your progression as a Golden Bear from the time you came in to this season, et cetera, moving on up? Did you progress and kind of become the collegiate player you thought you'd be?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could tell the difference between a freshman and a senior, just the maturity level, the decisions they make on the court, getting used to playing in the style of offense that Coach Driscoll wants us to play, getting used to how exactly how he wants his plays run, and just the chemistry that you have. When you come in as a freshman, you're kind of like used to how you played in high school, and you get used to how the college game is played. Because there's a big difference. It's much faster. It's much quicker. Your decision making has to be quicker. It has to just be stronger overall.
What was that dynamic like with you and Ethan? I mean, obviously Ethan's coming in. He's underclassman compared to you, and now he's usurping your role from you as a starter. What was that like? But was it better because you guys were friends?
Yeah, I definitely think it was. I mean, Ethan could tell you the same thing if he's been in here or if you've asked him already. We hang out every day off the court. We drive to practice together, drive home from games, sit next to each other on the bus. It's kind of like it was just a friendship. And once he got the starting job, it wasn't like, oh, he took my job from me. It was like, oh, Ethan's playing great right now, and I need to support him with that. And I need to come in, and when me and Ethan are on the floor together, we need to figure out like what's going on and what we can do to win a game.
What sets this team apart from those other teams, those great players?
This year, we did not have one great player. We had a team. We had a team that liked each other. We had a team that fought hard for each other. We had a team that our goal coming into the year was win the PSAC title, PSAC East title, go to the PSAC championship game, and then get in the NCAA tournament. That was our goal. And you have to sacrifice that. You have to sacrifice some of your individual accolades. You have to sacrifice some of your game. And if you watched us play this year, we were a team. We passed the ball better than any team I've had. I mean, there are games that are, we had on 44 baskets had 32 assists, which is almost unheard of.
Right.
And, so those are the things I think we took out, is that there was a real central focus, camaraderie, a really point on what we're going to be, what our goal is. It wasn't to have the player of the year. It wasn't to, do X, Y, and Z. Our goal is to win the championship, do it as a team. And, we were very fortunate and accomplished those goals.
Last year, a lot of times, like beginning of the season, we played like we were the underdog. Like no one knew we were going to be that good, so no one was looking for us. This year we had a target on our back. We just had to keep playing through it. Everyone's going to give us our best game, and I think we did pretty well fending them off and had a great year.
Coach envisioned us playing like we did the year before. We were more of a team, and that got us to the Sweet 16. We lost to West Lid, but we came back this year. The same mindset, just playing as a team. So I try to not make it about myself, but about my teammates. And if I'm doing that, then they'll rub off on them, so they can do that too. And that just made the chemistry that much better for our team.
How important was that to have that team mentality and that team aspect?
It was very important. It's very important because the game's changing now. So more or less of guys going one-on-one. You have more of guys sharing the ball. And that's the direction that we wanted to go into, and it worked out for the best. But I think the Philly U game really established ourselves as being that team, and we were down 20, came back and won. I think that was the high point because we knew what type of team we were. That kind of established our identity, because in the previous years, if we were down like that, I think we probably would have maybe just given up.
All the individual accolades that this team was able to amount for the year, obviously Josh Johnson having his own, you getting your own three-pointers in a career, in a season, 1,000 points, and then obviously Ridgeway with the assists in a game, in a career, in a season. Did that ever matter to you? Did it ever matter to anyone else in the locker room?
No, not at all. Usually when it happened, like we didn't even know it was coming. Like when Ethan broke the assist record, I didn't even know until he got it. Like no one talked about it, he didn't speak about it. When I got my three-point record, no one really knew that it was coming. Individual accolades we can celebrate after the season or look back on, but it didn't really affect our play.
Everybody just comes together. We had the chemistry, like we've been playing for 3 years, and I just been here for 2. But I redshirted my freshman year, so I got to know them. So we just don't care about stats. We care about winning, and that's made us successful in the future.
What was that like for you individually to every night basically be going for a record or breaking a record, especially towards the end of the year?
It was just unreal. I was just still trying to play my game, but in the back of my mind, I knew that those records were creeping up and that they were right there for me to go take them. And just credit my teammates for doing such a great job of getting into places, making shots. I can't do it without them. So, I can get them the ball, but at the end of the day, they still got to make the shots. So the records can't be broken without them.
You're listening to Redneck.
Those winning streaks, you start the season off, long winning streak, another double-digit one, 17, 18 games getting up to, and one of the best and longest winning streaks in school history. What was that like to just keep rallying them off, undefeated in January, undefeated going into February? You guys didn't lose for the first 2 months of the calendar year.
That's kind of what we wanted to do.
Once we got up around 12, 13, what the record was, And once we got around that time, we were shooting to get to that record, and we wanted to beat it, ultimately tying it, which is still nice. And Coach Driscoll always says we make our runs in January, and he always likes to go undefeated in January, and that's what we pushed to do, and that's what we did, and it just happened to be within that time when we got that streak.
At points, it seemed like we looked back at the season and we're like, wow, we can't believe, we really did all that. But we had the same mindset all throughout the year, so keeping that chemistry together, everyone keep working. That's the results we wanted.
18-game winning streak, pushing it into the end of the regular season. Did you feel that was the perfect time? You guys were clicking on all the right cylinders. You were hot at the right time. Do you feel that really set you up for a playoff run?
Absolutely. I feel like you don't want to start your season 18-0. You want to experience losses. You want to experience heartbreak. You want to get that feeling out of the way before going into the playoffs. So the time that we went on our 18-game win streak, I feel like was perfect to hit our stride.
Obviously, that Westchester team, you were able to play them in the first or in the quarterfinal round, but your first playoff game, as you mentioned, with the bye, and kind of another rival for you guys, the Golden Rams, but you're able to play them in the last home game for the season. How nice was that to send those seniors off? Josh Johnson, 32 points, and just be able to bring such a great atmosphere with almost like dual student sections going, and one of the loudest nights at Keystone Arena. How nice was that to be the last home game of this season?
To be honest, that might have been the craziest game I've ever experienced in Keystone Arena. That might have been the loudest I heard it. So it was cool to send our fans off with a reminder of how great our season was, and to send our seniors off with how much fun it is playing Keystone Arena.
And then one of the most interesting moments, and we saw that live on KUTV, and we had to watch that, was you go up for the dunk, and in a scary moment, you fall back down on the defender. You go down pretty hard on the floor, and then you're down, and then you come up, and you just get the crowd roaring. So what was that little sequence like for you? And obviously, putting your health aside, and once you found out you were okay, you're just like, you know what? Let's use this to pump up the crowd.
Well, I knew it was the first playoff game, and I knew that we wanted that championship. That ship game, we wanted that. We wanted to win that championship, and that was the first step. So to hype our team up, hype our fans up for the playoffs and get everybody going was a great experience. But the things people don't realize is how bad that really hurt. That hurt pretty bad.
So you were still fighting through the pain even when you were cheering them on to try to bring the crowd up?
The minute all that energy and everything came out of my body, I felt that fall, I promise.
How nice was that to be your last game as a Golden Bear at home?
It was probably the best, and what made him a brother was a couple of my guys. I bet you guys all heard them. They were up in the second balcony. They were all my friends. Student session had everyone going, had me going, had my teammates going, and I think that's honestly what got me going aggressive and playing aggressive. But it was the best feeling in the world, man. I just want to thank the fans for all that.
If you look back at this past season, what's the one moment that sticks out to you, and maybe something that's going to continue to stick out to you maybe a few years down the road?
The one moment, the PSAC Final Four game at IUP when we were playing Gannon, I can remember looking up at the clock. They're on a free throw line. We're down 8 with 1:30 left on the clock. I bend down, hoping he missed free throws, missed the first one. I look up, he missed the second. We get the ball, go down the court.
I would just run to my spot, got to look for the ball, looked at Ethan. I was like, I'm right here, I'm open. And when I got it, I just shot it with confidence. Just think about it as it's going in. Don't ever think you're gonna miss.
2 threes back to back, Ryan and A-Lee in the same corner actually, almost the same pass from me. And I look up, 50-something seconds left, we're down 2. And guys were just so energetic, and I like how we didn't give up in that moment, because down 8, 1:30 left, you can just fold and start jacking up any shots, but guys still stuck to our keys, ran to their corners, got open shots, and knocked them down.
At one point in time, people would be like, this game's over, but then to go Anthony Lee 3, Ryan Connolly 3, great assists from you, you get to overtime, boom, Ethan Ridgway, going coast to coast sometimes as well. What was that like to start overtime, knowing that you guys almost got a second chance and you took advantage of it?
I know when teams fight back like that, you normally lose a lot of energy, and they normally throw the next punch. I wanted to get the first punch in overtime, not let them knock us off our feet again, so we weren't fighting back. So I just tried to be more aggressive with my game and take shots and be confident and knock down shots, and that's how it worked out, and I think thankfully it did.
What was that championship game like, having to go out west, but playing a team you know well in Shippensburg, a team that you split with? You suffered your first loss of the season to them, but then you were able to get them back later on in the season, and then you had to fight them out at Ed Fry Arena at IUP. that championship game experience, what was that like?
It was a great experience. Unfortunately, we lost, but just being able to play on that stage, in that type of gym, it just felt like like you were in something you looked forward to your whole life.
And that was a tough loss to swallow. Did that hurt more because you knew it was the last opportunity for those seniors, or just because of you?
Well, of course it hurt seeing the seniors. It hurt seeing Josh's face, Conley's face, just because they've worked 4 years for this opportunity to win this championship. But it hurt for me personally because I know how hard we worked. I know how much running we've done, all the practices, all the push, the desire to win this game that we really had. It just hurt a little bit.
What was this team and being a part of this team, not just on the court, but off the court, meant for you as a college student to be able to be a part of such a brotherhood, if you will, of guys that you just were with almost 24/7 for a good chunk of the year?
Yeah, like I said, since the team was so close, it definitely was a really fun experience. I'll keep these friendships for the rest of my life.
I think off the court, just like a family, just like we're on the court. We pretty much hang out with each other every day, whether we're watching basketball games, whether we're just getting some shots up or just hanging around the house. We're a big family off the court, and I think that's what helps us on the court.
This team was a huge family. Like I don't think I've ever been on a team that was as close as this one. We all just have a bunch of fun together off the court, and we all love playing together. So the fact that we were that close off the court probably made us that much better on the court.
Do you feel this was just the perfect mix of people?
Yeah, definitely. It's a great group of guys. I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. They said, yeah, everyone had their own piece. So it seemed like you take one out, it just might not have flowed as well. I'm sure like we wouldn't have, I think we still would have had a decent team, but yeah, definitely taking one guy out, that would have been a huge part, just out of everybody, just the culture of the team, just how the team progressed together, and the team would just be different if you take anyone out.
How much was it that if one person had an ego or wasn't team first, that could have really affected this season?
That's the thing about this team. There were no egos. There were absolutely no egos on this team. And if it was, man, it's probably for a day. That's just a code we live by, man, brotherhood. No one's better than the next person.
No one really had an ego, no one had an attitude. So we just all clicked immediately. We were all friends, we became friends. But just playing with each other all the time and hanging out outside of the basketball court, we just developed that friendship and chemistry, and it helped tons on the floor.
What was that like to be able to be out there with those guys, Ryan Connolly, Josh Johnson, others that you've come up through this program with?
Playing with all those guys, those are our 5 seniors. Those are my brothers, because we're all going to graduate together, all hopefully be successful in life. And just playing in front of a crowd like that was awesome. Me and Josh's connection on an alley-oop was something that I'll never forget.
It means a lot to go out with them. Josh, Howard, Austin, Martin. I've been playing with them for 4 years, and they became good friends to me and with me, and spent a lot of time on the court together. We became good friends, and to be able to go out and celebrate senior day and go out with the season we did, it was fun.
We all still are a family. When we break down every day, we say KU on 3, family on 6. So it's kind of a family-oriented thing, and I think some of the guys, once they saw me take a back seat and be cheering for Ethan like that as a senior and as a captain, I feel like more guys bonded into that, especially the freshmen. So I would say it started with me and Ethan just having a great relationship, and that being a goal of ours.
I love those guys. They're my brothers, man. And it's crazy how fast these years went, but I regret nothing. I know they don't regret anything at all. And looking forward, I think we'll continue to be friends. But yeah, I love those guys to death. Howard, Austin, Conley, Martin. We're a big family.